I'm glad you found out. I'm tired of pretending. My girlfriend screamed when I caught her cheating with her coworker. She thought she could play us both, but her manipulation finally caught up with her. So, I'm Joe. My girlfriend Shannon and I have been together for 4 years. We moved in together last year, got a cat named Pumpkin, and I honestly thought we were heading toward engagement. She works in marketing at some tech startup downtown, and I'm in IT support. Pretty normal relationship, or so I thought. I've been working from home more lately because of some server upgrades at my company, and Shannon's been staying late at work a lot. Like, really late. She'd come home at 9 or 10 p.m. saying they had big projects and tight deadlines. I didn't think much of it because startups are crazy like that, right? But then she started getting weird about her phone. Like, really weird. She'd take it to the bathroom, sleep with it under her pillow, and get jumpy whenever I walked by while she was texting. She also started picking fights over nothing. I'd leave a dish in the sink and suddenly I'm inconsiderate and don't respect her space. I'd want to watch Netflix together and she'd say I was being suffocating and needed to give her room to breathe. I started walking on eggshells trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. Tuesday night, she fell asleep on the couch after another one of her late work sessions. Her phone was buzzing constantly on the coffee table. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the notifications kept lighting up the screen. The name Martin kept popping up with messages like "miss you already" and "can't wait for tomorrow." My stomach dropped through the floor. Martin is this guy from her work. She's mentioned him before as just a friend from the team. But these messages, they weren't work messages. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I did something I've never done before. I looked at her phone. The messages went back weeks. Sexting, plans to meet up, him saying he loved her, her saying she loved him too. Pictures I can't get out of my head. Plans to go to hotels during lunch breaks. Him calling me that loser boyfriend and her laughing about it. But the worst part, she was telling him that I was emotionally abusive, that I controlled her and made her feel trapped, that she was finally ready to leave me and they could be together properly soon. I've never laid a hand on her. I've never yelled at her. I've been bending over backwards trying to figure out why she seemed so unhappy, and apparently the reason was that she was sleeping with someone else and painting me as the villain. When she came out of the shower, I was sitting at the kitchen table with her phone. I asked, "Who's Martin?" She went completely white. Then instead of apologizing or explaining, she immediately went on the attack. "You went through my phone. How dare you?" "That's a complete violation of my privacy." I showed her the messages. She couldn't deny them, so she switched tactics. "You made me do this, Joe. You've been distant and cold for months. You never make me feel special anymore. When was the last time you took me on a real date? When was the last time you told me I was beautiful?" I was sitting there, absolutely stunned. She was turning her cheating into my fault. I felt so lonely, Joe. "Martin makes me feel alive again. You've been taking me for granted for so long that I forgot what it felt like to be wanted." I tried to respond, but she just kept going. "And you know what? I'm glad you found out. I'm tired of pretending everything is fine when you clearly don't care about me anymore. At least Martin appreciates me." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. 4 years together, and this was how she was justifying betraying me. By making it my fault. I told her to pack her things and leave. She said she would, but she needed time to figure things out. I said no, she needed to leave today. That's when she started crying and saying I was being cruel and heartless, and that she made a mistake, but I was throwing away 4 years over nothing. She's staying at her sister's place now. Yesterday she posted on Facebook about how true love means accepting people's flaws and working through difficulties together, and some people give up the moment things get hard. I'm so angry I can barely function. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I keep going over every interaction we've had in the past few months, wondering how I missed this. Was I really that bad of a boyfriend? Did I actually drive her to this? My friends are telling me I dodged a bullet, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like I've been living with a stranger for months and had no idea. Am I crazy for feeling like this is entirely her fault? Was I really that terrible that she had to go find someone else? I just need to know if I'm taking crazy pills here. Edit. Yes, Pumpkin is still with me. She tried to take the cat too, but I pointed out that I'm the one who pays for everything and my name is on the adoption papers. She wasn't happy about that. Update 1. Posted 2 weeks ago, so after my last post, I thought maybe I'd get some peace to process everything. Shannon had been staying at her sister's place and hadn't contacted me directly, just those passive-aggressive Facebook posts that everyone was telling me to ignore. Last Thursday, she showed up at my apartment at 8 p.m. When I opened the door, she was standing there with flowers and takeout from my favorite Thai place. "Can we talk?" she said. "I think we both said some things we didn't mean." I was so caught off guard that I let her in. Big mistake. She sat down on the couch and started this whole speech about how she'd been thinking about everything and realized we both made mistakes. She said she was sorry for getting close to Martin, but that it never would have happened if I had been more attentive to her needs. "I know what I did was wrong," she said, "but Joe, you have to understand that I was crying out for help. I was trying to tell you for months that I felt disconnected from you and you just didn't hear me." I asked her when she had tried to tell me that. She couldn't give me a specific example. "It wasn't about what I said, it was about what I didn't say. You should have been able to tell I was unhappy." Then she started crying, real tears, not the fake ones from before. And for a moment I actually felt bad for her. This is someone I loved for 4 years and she was sitting in my living room falling apart. But then she said something that snapped me back to reality. "Martin was just a mistake, but I chose you, Joe. I'm here with you, not with him. That has to count for something." I asked her what she meant by chose me. Did she break it off with Martin? She got uncomfortable and said, "It's complicated. We work together, so I can't just completely cut him off. But I told him that I want to work things out with you." "So you're still talking to him? Just as colleagues?" "Joe, you're being really black and white about this. Adult relationships are complicated. We can't just erase people from our lives." That's when I realized what was happening. She wasn't trying to save our relationship, she was trying to have both. She wanted to keep me as the safe, stable boyfriend while continuing whatever she had with Martin. I told her to leave. She said I was throwing away everything we built together and that she was trying to be honest with me, but I was punishing her for her honesty. I said, "You weren't honest with me. You weren't even honest with him. You told him I was abusive." She stood up and started pacing around my living room like she owned the place. "I never said you were abusive. I said I felt emotionally neglected, which is different." I pulled out my phone and started reading her messages to Martin. The exact words where she called me controlling and emotionally abusive, where she said she was done with this relationship and ready to start fresh with him. She went quiet for a minute, then said, "Those messages were taken out of context. I was venting. Everyone vents about their relationship sometimes. Venting is complaining about me leaving dishes in the sink. This is planning to leave me while calling me abusive to justify your affair." She started crying again, but this time it felt different, more manipulative. "I can't believe you're being so cruel to me. I made a mistake, but I'm here trying to fix it. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Don't you love me enough to fight for us?" I looked at her sitting there in my apartment, asking me to fight for a relationship she'd already destroyed. And I realized that this wasn't the woman I fell in love with. Maybe she never was. "I did fight for us," I said. "Every day for the past 4 months when you were picking fights with me and making me feel like shit. I fought for us when you started acting like I was the worst person in the world for wanting to spend time with you. I fought for us while you were sleeping with someone else." She got mad again. "Fine. I can see you've already made up your mind. I guess 4 years means nothing to you." 4 years meant everything to me. That's why this hurts so much." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. But before she left, she turned around and said, "You know what? Martin was right about you. You are emotionally unavailable and cruel. I hope you're happy being alone." Then she slammed the door. I sat there for about an hour just staring at the wall. Pumpkin came over and jumped on my lap, and I realized that even my cat was more loyal than she was. The next day, she posted on Facebook, "Sometimes you have to accept that some people can't handle real love. It's scary to be vulnerable and admit your mistakes, but it's scarier to be with someone who won't forgive you for being human." I blocked her on everything after that. I should have done it weeks ago. My buddy Chris came over that weekend with beer. It felt good to remember that I have friends who actually give a damn about me. But I'm still angry. I'm angry that she made me doubt myself for months. I'm angry that she's probably telling everyone who will listen that I'm the one who destroyed our relationship. I'm angry that 4 years of my life feel like they were based on a lie. I'm also scared. If I could be so wrong about someone I lived with for a year, how am I supposed to trust anyone again? Edit. For everyone asking about Martin, apparently he's married. Shannon knew this. I found out through a mutual friend. This just keeps getting better. Update 2, posted 1 week ago. I thought it was over. I really did. After blocking her on everything, I figured she'd move on with Martin and I could start healing. I was wrong. So first, some context from the past week. I started packing her belongings, claiming back my space. You know, the work. I was feeling pretty good about my progress. I even went on a date last weekend, just coffee with a friend of a friend. Nothing serious, but it felt good to remember that there are decent people out there. But then Tuesday happened. Shannon showed up at my office. My freaking office. She somehow got past security and was sitting in the lobby when I came back from lunch. "We need to talk," she said. I told her to leave or I'd call security. She said she would, but first she wanted to clear the air because she'd been hearing things about what I'd been telling people. Apparently, my friend Chris had mentioned something to his girlfriend, who mentioned it to her friend, who mentioned it to Shannon's sister. "You know how it goes. You're telling people I'm a cheater," she said. "That's not what happened and you know it." I stared at her. "What do you call sleeping with someone else while you're in a relationship then?" "I call it making a mistake while I was in a bad place emotionally. But you're making it sound like I'm some kind of serial cheater who planned this whole thing. You literally planned hotel meetings with him." That was just fantasy. We only actually did anything twice. Only twice. Like that made it better. She went on to say that she was concerned about my mental health because I was obsessing over this and spreading lies about her character. She said she was worried I was having a breakdown and that maybe I should talk to someone. I told her even if that was really the case, I didn't need her care. Then I called the security. Security finally came and escorted her out. My boss was cool about it, but I was mortified. But wait, it got worse. That night she posted on Facebook. Not tagged to me since I'd blocked her, but mutual friends started sending me screenshots. "It's been a difficult few weeks as I've been dealing with the end of a long-term relationship. I've been trying to handle this privately, but I feel like I need to speak up because lies are being spread about me. I made a mistake. I got close to someone while I was in a very dark place emotionally. I was not getting the support I needed at home, and I made a bad decision. I immediately regretted it and tried to fix things, but my ex has decided to punish me by turning our mutual friends against me and spreading his version of events. I've been painted as a villain for having human emotions and making a mistake while I was struggling. I'm sharing this because I believe in honesty and accountability. I accept responsibility for my actions, but I won't accept being demonized for being human. I hope someday he can find it in his heart to forgive me, but until then, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward." But the comments were what really got to me. People who didn't know the whole story were commenting things like, "You deserve better," and "his loss," and "some people can't handle real love." I was shaking when I read it. She was literally playing the victim publicly while making it sound like I was the one being unreasonable. I thought she was being dramatic, but then yesterday happened. I came home from work to find Shannon sitting in her car outside my apartment building. When she saw me, she got out and started following me to the door. "I'm not stalking you," she said. "I just want to talk." I told her to leave me alone. She said she would, but she'd been thinking about everything and realized I was right about some things and she wanted to take full responsibility for her actions. I kept walking. She kept following. "I ended things with Martin," she said. "Completely. I blocked him on everything. I even asked HR to move me to a different team so I wouldn't have to work with him anymore." I stopped walking. "You asked HR to move you?" "Well, I told them we had a personal relationship that ended badly and it was creating a hostile work environment. They moved me to a different department. I protected myself, like you told me to." I couldn't believe it. She destroyed this guy's career because she was mad at me. Shannon, that's insane. He's married. You could have ruined his life. He should have thought of that before he took advantage of me. Took advantage of you. You were literally planning to leave me for him. I was confused. I was in a vulnerable place and he manipulated me. I started walking toward my building again. She grabbed my arm. Don't touch me, I said. I'm trying to show you that I'm serious about fixing this. I gave up everything for you. I destroyed my career prospects at my company. I cut off the only person who made me feel good about myself. I'm doing everything you wanted me to do. I looked at her hand on my arm and something clicked. This wasn't about getting me back. This was about control. She couldn't handle that I'd walked away from her. I never asked you to do any of that, I said. I asked you to leave me alone. The relationship is over. That's when she snapped. You know what? Screw you, Joe. I tried to be the bigger person here. I tried to work things out, but you're too proud and too stubborn to admit that you played a role in this too. She was still holding my arm and I pulled away from her. I'm documenting everything, she said. All of this. How you've been treating me. How you've been spreading lies about me. How you've been harassing me. I've been harassing you, I repeated, stunned. You turned our friends against me. You stole my cat. And now you're acting like I'm some kind of stalker for trying to save our relationship. I had heard enough. I walked into my building and she followed me to the elevator. The elevator doors closed with her still yelling at me through the glass. I'm calling a lawyer tomorrow. This is beyond anything I can handle on my own. Edit, I'm also installing security cameras. A few of you have suggested this and I think it's a good idea. A lot of people are asking about Martin. From what I heard, he's getting divorced. Apparently his wife found out about the affair and Shannon's complaint to HR made it impossible for him to deny. Final update. Posted 3 days ago. First, the good news. Shannon is out of my life. Permanently. The lawyer I hired sent her a cease and desist letter, and she's finally stopped trying to contact me. No more fake accounts, no more showing up places, no more manipulative Facebook posts. It's been radio silence for 2 weeks now. But let me tell you how we got here, because the last confrontation was something else. Remember how I said I was installing security cameras? Best decision I ever made. Because 3 days after my last update, she showed up at my apartment again, this time with backup. I was having a peaceful Saturday morning when there was a knock. Through the peephole, I saw Shannon standing there with Martin, the guy she'd been cheating with. I didn't answer. Just watched as Shannon knocked again, then started talking to the door. Joe, I know you're in there. I brought Martin so we could all talk like adults and clear the air. Martin looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. He kept checking his phone and shifting uncomfortably. This affects all of us, Shannon continued. We need to resolve this properly. I started recording on my phone when I heard her say to Martin, see, he won't even face us. This is exactly the kind of emotional immaturity I was dealing with. That's when I opened the door. What do you want, Shannon? She looked surprised I'd actually answered. Martin took a step back. We want to clear up some misunderstandings, Shannon said. Martin has something to tell you. I looked at Martin. He was pale and clearly uncomfortable. Look, man, I just want to say that he's sorry, Shannon interrupted. We both are, but we also want you to understand what really happened. I know what happened. You cheated. Martin finally spoke up. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Shannon told me you guys were basically over, that you were emotionally checked out and she was planning to break up with you anyway. I stared at Shannon. Is that what you told him? I told him the truth about our relationship problems. So you lied to both of us. Shannon's mask slipped for just a second. I saw that scared little girl expression again, but then she recovered. I didn't lie. Our relationship was over in everything but name. You know that. Martin looked between us. Shannon, you said he was controlling and wouldn't let you leave. I never said that, she snapped. That's not. You're misremembering. I'm not misremembering. You said he was emotionally abusive and you were scared to leave him. Martin stepped back. Jesus Christ, Shannon, none of that was true. It was how I felt at the time. You made me feel like I was rescuing you from an abusive relationship, Martin shouted. That's when it all clicked. Shannon hadn't just cheated, she'd created an entire false narrative to justify it. She'd painted me as abusive to Martin to make herself the victim, then painted Martin as a manipulator to make herself the victim with me. "You played us both," I said. Shannon started crying. "That's not fair. I was confused and unhappy and made mistakes, but I never meant to hurt anyone." Martin was shaking his head. "My wife left me because of this. My kids won't talk to me, and you lied about everything." "I didn't lie. I felt trapped and scared, and you felt trapped, so you cheated instead of having an adult conversation. So you told anyone who would listen that your boyfriend was controlling and abusive. He jabbed a finger at me, that he monitored your phone and isolated you from friends." I stared at both of them. "I never did any of that." Martin turned on Shannon. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Shannon was full on sobbing now. "I was unhappy. I felt alone. I needed someone to understand. I'd heard enough. You need to leave, both of you." Martin was already heading for the stairs. "I'm done with this insanity." Shannon tried to follow him. "Martin, wait, let me explain." "Explain what? How you lied about everything, how you destroyed my marriage for nothing." He was gone. Shannon stood there for a moment looking completely lost. Then she turned back to me. "This is your fault," she said quietly. "If you just fought for us, none of this would have happened. If I'd fought for us. If you'd cared enough to fix our problems instead of just giving up the moment things got hard." I stared at her. "Shannon, you cheated on me for months. You lied to your affair partner about me being abusive. You stalked me at work. You created fake social media accounts. You tried to take my cat. And you're still saying this is my fault." She had no answer. "Get help, Shannon, real help, from a professional." She left without another word. That was 4 days ago. Haven't heard from her since. But I've been hearing about her. Chris told me that Shannon's sister Amy has been telling people the truth about what really happened. Apparently Amy had decided she couldn't keep covering for Shannon anymore. Half their mutual friends now know Shannon was cheating and lying about me being abusive. Her work situation got even worse. After Martin's wife found out about the affair and Shannon's false HR complaint, Martin's lawyer got involved. Turns out filing a knowingly false harassment claim is grounds for termination. Shannon got fired 3 days ago. As for me, Emma and I are taking things slow, but she's amazing. She's patient with me while I work through my trust issues, and she doesn't try to rush me into anything. She's the opposite of Shannon in every way, honest, straightforward, and secure in herself. Pumpkin is doing great. She's actually more affectionate now that the tension in the apartment is gone. Cats are smart. She knew something was wrong before I did. I'm free, I'm happy, and I'm never looking back. Thanks for everything, Reddit. You saved my sanity.